Hi, I'm Izzy Caleris, and my group project overall question is, how does the media play a role in the persuasion and modification of people's political beliefs, views, and opinions in the United States? This question relates to the overall problem of propaganda, hate speech, and an obvious bias that has grown over time in the media current day. Some of the sub-questions that will be further gone into from this overall question relate to how COVID has impacted the use of social media and influenced people's political opinions, how some media outlets are more influential than others, what kind of techniques go into media bias, and how the power of artificial intelligence can potentially violate human rights and freedoms.
Hey everyone, my name is Bella Mills, and the sub-question that I chose to focus on was what certain techniques are used by these media and news outlets to change people's opinions. I've always been aware of media bias, but never really understood how it works and how the media knows exactly what to say or do to change people's opinions. From the article How to Spot 11 Types of Media Bias, I came across multiple types of media bias techniques that are used frequently in our society today. Each one are different, and the first one is called spin, which clouds a reader's view, preventing them from getting a precise take on what exactly happened. Second is unsubstantiated claims, which include statements that appear to be facts but do not have any specific evidence. Third is opinion statements presented as facts, which is based on personal opinions, assumptions, beliefs, tastes, preferences, or interpretations. Fourth is sensationalism/emotionalism, where information is presented in a way that makes a deep impression. Fifth is misleading, where unfair or insulting things are said about someone in order to damage their own reputation. Sixth is mind reading, and seventh is slant, that includes cherry-picking information or data to support one specific side. Eighth includes jumping to conclusions. Ninth is bias by omission, where media outlets choose not to cover certain stories or omit information that would support an alternative viewpoint. And the last two are 10th is omission of source attribution, and lastly is bias by placement. After learning about each of these techniques and how to spot them, I came to the conclusion that each one may be very different, but they are all similar in the way where most of them are because they use opinions as facts, they don't provide enough evidence, or they keep the story very vague. According to the Rand Corporation, the way people consume information has changed immensely because instead of waiting for the morning newspaper, people now have phones and other easy technological devices that the average person spends hours on each day online, looking at news and entertainment websites or using social media and consuming many different types of information. With the increase of political topics being talked more about on social media sites, the younger generations are already experiencing media bias with what they see on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, etc. From the Pew Research Center, from the people within the ages of 18 to 29 in the US, 23% of them voted that they have had their social or political opinions change within the past year because of something that they saw on the internet. Everyone is somehow biased, even if they try not to be, because it's a normal human trait. And there will always be opinion versus facts, but it is really important to know when other people or media have been biased and are spreading false information so that it doesn't become a form of manipulation.
Hi there, my name is Lauren Sullivan, and I've wondered, how are some medias more influential than others? Well, during my conducted research, I found that social media was the main driving force of influence in today's society, rather than print or radio media. Social media gives every user a voice and platform to project their opinions and thoughts to the world. In an article titled, "Whoever has a smartphone and a social media account is a journalist today," Governance Now Media shares eye-opening information on the actual influence anyone can make. It ultimately says that with enough shares and likes, your take on whatever topic, true or false, can become the next influential piece of information tons of people believe in. This is an amazing feature now that anyone can be a journalist, but it also shares great concern that this could mean lots of false information resulting in extreme bias on any given topic. And to what we've learned thus far is that bias is indeed one of the main results in any online journaling. In my conclusion, social media will continue to thrive as the #1 media into the future of politics and news.
My name is Sila Lamascolo. I have extensively researched the impact COVID-19 has on the use of social media and how it affects users' political opinions. The extensive wide-scale effect of COVID-19 on Americans and its limitation of interaction causes people to turn to social media as a form of aid, which also happens to be a political tool. A research article published by the School of Psychological and Cognitive Sciences came to the conclusion that the stress caused by the COVID-19 pandemic causes a rise in the use of social media. Now that there is an understanding that the increased stress level from the pandemic has caused an addiction to social media, an assessment must be made on how increased use of social media affects its users' political opinions. Almost the entirety of the citizens of the U.S. have been affected by the pandemic, and how the pandemic is handled is a political public issue. In the article stated previously, one of the ways social media was used is as a tool for emotion-focused coping, such as venting emotions or joining communities online. Due to each individual being personally affected by the pandemic, addiction to social media, and emotion-focused coping, it promotes the use of social media as a tool through expressing opinions during a time of extreme partisanship in America's politics. The same was found by the Pew Research Center. They concluded that 77% of Americans believe the country is even more divided than before the pandemic. The reason this matters is due to the effects of the growth of hatred and division in America. The World Health Organization found that the unfiltered information created by the use of social media has caused an increase in hate speech and hate crimes over the pandemic.
My sub-question of focus within the group was, is the power of artificial intelligence a violation of basic human rights and freedoms? What sparked the sub-question was the information I learned from the TED Talk titled, "We Are Building a Dystopia Just to Make People Click on Ads" by Zainab Tufekci, and also just the fact that in real life, we would not let strangers come into our homes and take our personal information, alter our beliefs so easily. We wouldn't let them eavesdrop on our conversations, etc. So what basically I wanted to find out was, how is this allowed to happen online every single day, and why is it happening so easily? Why are people, social media users, technology users, so casual about it? As social media users and technology users, we are aware of these kind of things going on just based off the fact that we receive ads for things that we just talked about or searched. But my findings as to why this is allowed to happen is just based off the fact that these artificial intelligence systems are supposed to work for us and not against us, whether they actually do or not. So they are meant to protect us against wrongful user behavior, and they are meant to moderate content on our behalf. States actually request these intermediaries to take down certain posts and remove them, remove certain categories of content, and to overall moderate what the public is seeing, so that certain categories aren't blocking news content of public interest and stuff like that. So this was actually increased during the pandemic, when there was more pressure for people to not be seeing misinformation. These moderators were working extra hard during the pandemic to moderate our content, and these technologies have really just become too powerful for their own good, to the fact where these private corporations and businesses have got a hold of these AI filters and figured out how to use them for their own benefit, for ads and for marketing. So but they're still working to protect users, given that, so that's how they are allowed to be functioning like this. I think a recommendation for going forward is just to raise the awareness for people that don't know the extent of these algorithms and these technologies that are sucking our information out of us every single day and every single time that we open our phones. Even face identification to unlock your phone is being used for things. So our privacy is a human right, and it is being jeopardized, and it's practically non-existent at this point, but I think the terms of agreement should be a lot more open and visible to the public.
Overall, it can be seen that the way in which media plays a role in American citizens' political opinions is through misinformation, also known as priming. Techniques of manipulation on social media are all connected by one idea: a manipulation of the truth, whether it's by the use of opinions as facts, vagueness, or no reliable evidence. As a cause of this, it allows a continuous polarization not only in political ideology, but as seen in over the course of the pandemic, it causes the American people to turn against each other through hate crimes and speech. When hateful opinions or misinformation is being put online, this is when artificial intelligence is supposed to be the moderator and protector of the user online. However, AI is also being used as a political tool to glorify only one side of the argument in support of an affiliated political party. With the evidence of social media being the primary source of information regarding current events for Americans, our conclusions share the same worry of large-scale brainwashing permitted by the people. The media allows a platform for biased opinions to be seen as the same as factual information without question, causing Americans to blindly and aggressively turn against each other and increase divide and partisanship.